Good morning, all. Okay, today we are going to see the GPRS. Actually, yesterday only we have started with the GPRS. So I'll just uh, go through again that the part we have yesterday seen, and the further part we will see, that is the architecture of GPRS. Okay, so as I said yesterday, that GPRS is the next to second generation, that is next step to second generation. Okay, and it is actually not a third generation, so it is between the second and the third generation. That's why GPRS, or general packet radio service, which is the full form of GPRS, is usually known as 2.5G. Okay, so we are going to see this 2.5G when GPRS is given in the syllabus for study. Okay, so as I said, it is a full form of the abbreviation. GPRS is general packet radio service. So radio service, that means it will be a wireless communication, and it is based on the general packet service. Okay, so it is based on packet means packet switching. Okay, in the GSM we used to have the circuit switching, and now for GPRS we are moving towards the packet switching. So it is the entire communication uh, is not packet switching based, but the voice communication is still circuit switching based, but the data communication can be switched to the packet switch based network. Okay, so what is the difference between packet switching and circuit switching, that you have already studied in the semester 5 in the CN. So we are not going to get in detail of differences of circuit switching and the packet switching. So in this GPRS we are using packet switching based network. So how this particular packet switching based networks used? So we are using free slots. So only if we are, if you have a data to send. Okay, so usually in circuit switching you have a dedicated one slot in every frame for sending up the data, where you transmit your voice or data, that doesn't matter, but there a dedicated slot is provided there. But in the GPRS you will not be allocated with a dedicated slot. So whenever you have a data slot, you have to capture a free slot or free slot from a frame and transmit the data over that particular free slot. Okay, so that is the way of accessing the wireless media in the GPRS. Okay, so we'll move further. So how we can achieve the higher data rate, that we will see. So we know that there is no slot or no channel remains ideal throughout the process of communication. Why? Because it will not going to access a time slot. That means if any particular user is don't having a data to send, so it will not going to access a time slot, then that particular time slot else somebody else can use. Okay, so entire efficiency of the system is increased. Okay, as well as that gives you the additional data rate too. Okay, so whenever you have a data to transmit, you can transmit, and if you don't have a data, someone else can acquire that particular empty frame or empty slot. Okay, so you will get much higher bandwidth compared to the GSM system. For example, yesterday we have seen that 50 kbps that are using 4 slots temporary. Okay, so if you recall the previous lectures of GSM, the radio system that we have studied, that 16 kbps individual frame is taking for transferring data to maximum 50 kbps we are having here, through which we can achieve the data rate. Okay, so basically this GPRS is standardized in 1998, but it came into the actual commercial use in 2001. Okay, so one of the main advantage of GPRS system was it was more flexible, and it was a first successful step towards the third generation, which was intended to be completely a packet switch network or packet switch based mobile communication service. There are certain drawbacks also. We will see that drawbacks too. Just a minute. Okay, so we have seen few points here. Okay, so there are certain drawbacks also. We'll see drawbacks too. The drawback is, or the limitation we can say, is you need a more investment. So if you want to have a better technology or latest technology, you need to do more investment, and investment in terms of what? In terms of not only intelligence, but in terms of hardware, new hardware and new software. Okay, so GPRS generally provides a packet mode transfer. So that is packet switching for application which exhibit a traffic pattern such as frequent transmission of small volume. Okay, frequent transmission of small volume means what? Basically, what do you mean by packet? So the meaning of packet here is, the packet is nothing but the group of bit, okay, or group of bits. So small volumes are transmitted at a frequent intervals. Okay, so that is achieved via the packet transfer, and that's why GPRS is providing this particular packet mode transfer. So whenever you are transmitting the traffic at a frequent rate and in terms of small volume, so overall goal in this particular context is to provide better efficiency and cheaper data transfer service for typical internet connection. Okay, so basically, internet connection can also be the circuit switch based, but they are generally preferring packet switching networks. And since they are using packet switching, it is more costly. So to provide a cheaper alternative to that, GPRS has been introduced. So another advantage of GPRS is that we have a volume based charging and not the connection based charging. We have seen this particular thing yesterday also, that what is that? Again, I'm repeating. So that meaning of that is the amount of money that you are charged for communication is solely based on how much data you are transmitting or receiving. Okay, and it is not based on how long you are transmitting or receiving. Okay, for example, suppose let's say we are having the GSM and we are using the internet for GSM, which is a web service. And in GSM, if we are using the internet for suppose 1 hour, so no matter how much data you transmit or receive, you will be charged based on hourly basis. Okay, so whereas in GPRS, if you are using the internet for 1 hour, then you will be charged based on the amount of data transmitted or received in this particular session. So that is called as a volume based charging. So that is the amount of data transmission and reception, and not on the connection based charging. Okay, that means that is not based on the amount of time involved in the communication. Okay, so that is the difference between GPRS and the GSM service who provides the internet facility. So that reduces the cost required for communication. Then the another advantage is, we'll see the one more advantage, that it exhibits a always on characteristic. Okay, one of the key difference of circuit switching and the packet switching is that circuit switching is a connection oriented, whereas packet switching is the connection less. That means you have to establish a connection in circuit switching, whereas in packet switching is connection less, means we don't have to establish a connection. So whenever you have a data to transfer, you can simply transmit or into a free slot available. So there is no connection establishment as such required in GPRS. So you can always keep your GPRS connection on. So you will not be charged for keeping your connection on. You will be only charged when you will transmit or receive a data. Okay, so always on is another good service or characteristic of this GPRS compared to the GSM. Okay, so that all are advantages of this GPRS. Okay, so we'll see the further part, that is architecture. We'll see the architecture. So this is the architecture of GPRS. If you know, in the previous discussions that we had just now, we have saw that there is more investment required or needed for GPRS. So basically, where exactly the investment is needed, that we will see through the architecture. So this is the architecture of GPRS network. So if you see closely, most of the components are already present in the GSM system. There are only few new components are there. Okay, let's see them one by one. We'll see them. Okay, so which are the common components? पहले वो देखते हैं. Okay, so basically, if you remember, then this MS that was present in the GSM. Then this VLR that is also present in the GSM. Then MSC, it was also present in the GSM. BSS, that was also part of GSM. EIR, this was also part of GSM. HLR, this was also part of GSM. This PDN. This PDN is not actually a part of GSM, but if you remember, PDN was also mentioned in the GSM architecture, that is external data network. Okay, so these are the common parts that we have already seen in the GSM architecture. So there are three new components now remains. So one is SGSN. There are actually two SGSN present, and one is GGSN. Okay, so two SGSN and one GGSN. Okay, so what are these all? We will see one by one. So first of all, if you look closely to the diagram, the interfaces are also improvised. Okay, so the wireless interface, if you remember, in wireless interface, I'm talking about GSM architecture. So the wireless interface with only there is, you can see only a single interface which is similar to the GSM, and that is UM interface. We have seen this particular interface previously also in wireless and or radio interface. वहाँ पे हमने ये देखा था. Okay, all other interface are wired interface. Okay, so in GSM, if you remember, we have ABIS interface, we have used A interface, we have used O interface. Okay, so here these particular interfaces are not there, but here we have different interfaces. Different interfaces means different standardization of making a connection. Okay, so you have a GN interface. Here you can see you have a GN interface between the SGSN and GGSN. Okay, and you have a GB interface between BSS and SGSN. You have a GB interface between SGSN and BSS. That is the base station subsystem. Okay, so where GGSN is interfaced with the GI interface with PDN, that is external IP network or external packet data network. Okay, so again, this particular GN interface is also present here between two SGSN. Okay, so that are what new components are there, the interfaces, and total 4 interfaces are there, and 3 components are there, 2 SGSN and 1 GGSN. Then UM interface is there, GB, GN, and GI interface. Okay, we will see component one by one. Okay, so in GPRS network element, there are 2 SGSN were there and 1 GGSN. Again, you can refer. This is one SGSN. This is again SGSN, and this is the third component, which is GGSN. Okay. So in this, GSN is basically stand for GPRS support nodes. GSN is stand for GPRS support nodes. Okay. What are they actually? They are actually routers. They are actually routers. Okay, the first router is the gateway GSM. The first router is, I'm talking about GGSN now. first router is gateway GSN or gateway GPRS support node, that is GGSN. Okay, so the name suggests that is gateway GSM. So it is a gateway between GPRS network and the external packet data network, between GPRS and external packet data network. You can see. Okay, so external packet data network means either external IP or X.25 network. So gateway GSN acts as a gateway between GPRS network and the packet data networks. So what does these routers contains, or this particular router contains? So these GGSN contains basically a routing information. Okay, obviously it is a router, so it has a function of routing the packet, so it has to contain a routing information. Okay, then another function of this particular router is to performing the address conversion. This is the first, and another is to perform the address conversion. That means for that you have to revise your concept again of computer network, that converting private IPs to public IPs or converting IPs from one network to another network. Okay, then the third function of the router is tunneling of the data, okay, to a user via encapsulation. Okay, so this part will be more detail discussed in the concept of mobile IP. We have it in a third module, so we'll see that details over there. So this type of mobile ISP concept we will see at that time. Then the last or next function is the connection of external networks via a which interface, via a GI interface. Okay, that we have already discussed, that transmitting packet from one HGSN to another HGSN via a backbone network, which is connected via a GN interface. So that is a function of GGSN. And so GGSN is a router basically, so whose primary function is routing the packets via different interfaces. Okay, now the next router is, that is SGSN. Okay, there are two SGSN present, or more than two also possible. So in diagram we have only two, but more than two are also possible. Suppose if you have a geographical area, if you have a larger geographical area, then it might be possible that you will have the more than two SGSN also. So SGSN is called as serving GSN, means serving GPRS support node. So GPRS support node is a common term. So here it is a serving. That was gateway. This is serving GPRS support node. Okay. Basically, these particular routers serves the actual users. So if you have uh, seen the particular GGSN closely, so GGSN is a communicator between network and the internal network and the external network. But SGSN is a router that actually provides services to the user. Okay, so the first task of SGSN is supporting the mobile user via a GB interface, via a GB interface. So again, I'll go back and show you when we are talking about, just a minute. Okay. Now see, when we were talking about the GGSN is a communicator between the internal network. This is your internal network, and this is your external network, that is external IP or X.25 network, and it is connected via a GI interface. Okay, whereas if you see the SGSN is the supporting the network with two different interfaces. It is connected with the GGSN with the GN interface, whereas it is connected with the mobile station with the GB interface, and it is connected via GN interface to the other SGSN. Okay, so now here it is the first task basically of SGSN is supporting the mobile user via a GB interface. So we'll see that how exactly it does. Okay, so here supported means here it is keeping the location update of the user, also counting the bytes which are used by the user, and also providing the security to the user. What it is doing, it is doing three tasks. It is continuously updating the location, it is counting the bytes which are used by the user, and providing the security to the user. That is, to user means that is nothing but supporting the mobile station. So whenever a mobile user wants to transmit data, it requests user addresses. So these user addresses are obtained via GPRS registered by the SGSN. Okay, so whenever you send a request for data transmission, GPRS register which holds the user addresses, those addresses will be given to the SGSN, and SGSN gives that particular addresses to user. Okay, so that is mobile user or mobile station. Okay, because for a transmission and reception of the data packets, you need a addresses, or you required addresses like the IP address or MAC address. So basically, MAC address is built in your handset, but the IP address will be dynamically assigned. So that is one more task. Then next task is keeping the track of individual mobile users location. Keeping the track of individual mobile user location. The location updating is done by SGSN. So it is also responsible for collecting billing information also. Okay, so this information is not stored in the SGSN, but basically it is just collected by the SGSN. Now, what do you mean by billing information? So billing information is nothing but the counting the bytes, basically received bytes, as well as the transmitted bytes by the particular mobile station or particular user. Then the next function of SGSN is providing the security functions, okay, such as access control and encryption of data for the communication. So if you follow all the functions of this SGSN, you can, or we can conclude that it is basically on the same hierarchy level of MSC of GSM, because it is doing somewhat same functions of MSC. So SGSN does the same task of that of MSC in the GSM, and SGSN is for GPRS, whereas MSC is for GSM. So both are analogous. So this is what SGSN is. Now the last part for that block diagram is GR register. It was present here along with the HLR. Okay, we'll talk about this. That is a GPRS register. Okay, which is also called as a HLR in GSM. So whatever functions the HLR is doing in GSM, the same functions are observed in GPRS register, that is GR register in the GPRS. So what HLR was doing in GSM? So it was storing user relevant information. So GR also stores the GPRS relevant data. Okay, GPRS relevant data means like IP addresses, MAC addresses, and the context of the user. Okay, what do you mean by context? That we will see in the next slide. Okay, so the information is stored for the GPRS, it is stored in the GR register or GPRS register, whereas HLR stores, okay, everything about the user. But here in GPRS register, GR stores only the GPRS related information of the user. It is not storing everything. In the HLR, we have seen that it was keeping everything about the user, but GPRS is only keeping the relevant information of the user which is related for GPRS. Okay, so that is what the architecture is. So we will see one by one how this particular system functioning, or how do we send the data in this particular system. So before sending any data over the GPRS network, mobile user has to attach to the network. So although there is no connection establishment, so we should be attached to the network before transmission. Okay, just like we are turning on or turning off the mobile internet connection, so that is nothing but initiating the process of attachment. Okay, so when we turn off the mobile internet from our handset, we are getting detached. Okay, so you can see that on your mobile handset as well. So we have an icon to turn on the internet and to turn off the internet. Okay, so that is the MS attachment and MS detachment. So it is a part of mobility management that is done. Okay, or mobility management procedure. Okay, so when attachment procedure is started, okay, what does it include? So that we will see in this part. Okay, so when attaching the user to the network means that is assigning some temporary identities to the user similar to the GSM. If you remember the GSM architecture, the TMSI is assigned for hiding your identity. So here for a data connection, mobile user is assigned with TLLI, that is temporary logical link identity, and that is a temporary logical link identity similar to the TMSI. Then for keeping your data communication secure, the data is encrypted, and for encryption we will require cipher key. Okay, so you are assigned a cipher key sequence number, that is CKSN, for data encryption. And the last term that is done during the attachment procedure is creation of mobile user context. Okay, so that we will see how GPRS context is set up. Okay, so what is the concept context? Okay, so context comprises of status of mobile user. That status can be three type: the ready status, ideal status, and the standby status. Okay, so what are the meaning of these three steps? We will see. Then CKSN, okay, which is just assigned. So then there is one flag which is which indicates whether the compression is used or not. Okay, if it is used, the type of compression is what type of compression is used, and routing data. Okay, how to route this particular data to the particular user, so that information is also stored in the context. Okay, so routing data includes TLLI, the routing area array, then a call identifier, and a packet data channel. PDCH is the one channel and the identifier. Okay, so like that it will going to have the data. Okay, so here channel, the channel means the different channels are used for transmission of the packet. All this information is stored in the routing data. So context includes what we have seen. Your CKSN is included in that flag, and the routing data is included in that. So this mobility management procedure also comprises function for authentication, then location management, ciphering between MS and SGSN. Okay, similar to GSM. Okay, so here the primary difference between GSM and GPRS in terms of ciphering is that the ciphering lies between mobile station, that is user, and the SGSN. यहाँ पे ciphering किस 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 दो दो कंपोनेंट के बीच हो रहा है, that is between your MS and the SGSN. Okay, whereas अगर आपको याद रहेगा in GSM it was between radio link was provided between mobile station and the BTS. वहां पे किस में हो रहा था? In GSM it was between mobile station and BTS. Okay, so here basically it's here the ciphering is more than the standard which we have used in the GSM. So if you compare this with the GSM, the data encrypted between mobile station and BTS, so GSM data is encrypted for particular connection in GSM. So in GPRS, data is encrypted for mobile station and the SGSN, whereas SGSN is equivalent to your MSC in the GSM. So it goes beyond the scope of your GSM that you can easily see. So your data is kept private over a longer period of time compared to the GSM, because in GSM we only have between MS and BTS, whereas here it is between MS and SGSN. SGSN is having the similar functionality of MSC switching center. Okay, so we will see the three states that we have seen in the context, that is ideal state kya hota hai, ideal standby kya hai, and ready kya hai. Okay, what are they? Okay, so ideal mode means mobile station is not reachable. So when mobile station is not reachable, obviously it is of no use to keep the context of it. So the all the context will be deleted in that case. That is the first case. Then the standby mode means standby mode is only the movement across the routing area is updated, but not the changes of the same. Okay, so if you are currently in a particular routing area, so suppose if you are in a home and you are roaming around in your home, your location may be updated, but if you change the sim, that won't be updated in the standby mode. And lastly, the ready mode, it is when the user moves from one location to a different location, which may be outside the cell also. Even moment, every moment will be indicated to the SGSN. Okay, so these are the different scenario in which these three modes can be observed. We'll discuss the scenarios in detail. So in ideal mode means, that means what, your data connection is on, you are stationary, and you are not transmitting anything. Ideal mode is what, your data connection is on, you are stationary, and you are not transmitting anything. So your mobile keypad is locked, you are just sitting and maybe watching the TV. So your mobile will go in a ideal mode. Okay, so your mobile station is attached because your internet connection is on, but you are not using it, your phone is locked. That is what the ideal mode. So that's why it will be ideal mode. Then what is a standby mode? So your internet connection is on, you are carrying your phone while roaming around your home or nearby your home, so you are not leaving yourself. So your location will be updated, but it won't be transmitting any data. Okay, so that is a standby mode. And lastly, the ready state, when you are moving around or moving, or when you are transmitting your data while roaming, so that will be a ready state.